Good morning. Good morning. It's wonderful to see you here this morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Fort Myers, where our mission is to love, serve, and grow. Love as a foundation of all our relations with other people, with all of God's creation. And to serve as our inclination to be fully present to all beings. And to grow as in harmony with our ever-expanding cosmological consciousness. A special warm welcome to each one of you personally. If this is your first visit with us, or your first visit in a long time, no matter who you are, whatever it is that led you to be with us this morning, or wherever you are on your spiritual journey, we hope your expectations of being in a loving, supportive, and welcoming community will be fulfilled many, many times over. If you have not already done so, please fill out a connection card available at the welcome table in the narthex. Sharing your contact information is the best way we have of being able to actually be here for you as you explore your spiritual path and the many facets of the UU faith. If you've been with us for a very long time, we hope that you will be inspired and recharged with enthusiasm as we work for the greater good of this beloved community in process. My name is Gary Robbins, and I'm honored to be your worship associate again this morning, along with a host of others, seen and unseen, who make this service possible, including our powerful, growing choir, which you all may consider joining if you would like, and under the direction of John Dalton, who is our incredible music director, along with our somewhat obscured organist, Jeff Letts, hidden by the sheet music. Thank you, Jeff. And in addition, we have our incredible tech team, Walter and Brian and Isaac, and might I mention the newest team member, Lee. Welcome, team, Lee. All right. That does not mean that we can't use more help on the tech team, so if you have any inclination whatsoever, please see the tech team or someone from the tech team immediately after the service. This morning we are privileged, once again, to welcome to our pulpit the Reverend Arthur L. Jones III, who will be speaking on our very complex June topic of the month, freedom, as in freedom to, freedom from, and the many, many variations in between. It's been very special having Reverend Arthur assisting us with these services in this time of change, and we look forward to our more formal relationship with you coming September. Now, just a couple housekeeping details which you probably all know. During the service today, those of you who are on Zoom, please keep muted and do not chat throughout the service. And for those of you with us in person, please keep your phones muted while you are here in the sanctuary. We wish to acknowledge the history of the Calusa Indians on whose unceded land we currently reside, as well as the presence of the indigenous Miccosukee and Seminole tribes, and all of Creator's creatures from whom we have taken and occupied their land. We do have a lot of work to do to reimagine a brand new dream of freedom of our country that is built upon respect for all the principles that UU stands for and that we profess in our covenant, and to make them manifest for all our citizens in all the work we engage in to create an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, and socially just human presence on this planet. And let us now join in continuing our transformational, heart-centered wisdom quest as we begin our morning service. For our call to worship this morning, once again we are blessed by the spirit of Manitonquat, medicine story, as he brings forth images in this song of his sacred circle. And might I say that Andrea knew Manitonquat, and her first sweat lodge was done under his leadership. So we have a direct connection to what we're going to hear now. So, may we see the images he stirs in our imaginations and memories as our personal verses in this, our communal song, in this, our gathering, sacred circle. A Song for Our Circle by Manitonquat. Today we circle together again to make another work. So I want my song today to celebrate our circle. Our ingredients, which we wish we had more of here today, our ingredients are babies crying, being held and fondled, their fear and rage respected, and we're only pleased and fond. Children running, laughing, raucous, falling, scrambling, hiding, exploding, energy, photons darting, orbiting the heart of the tribe. People sitting on their blankets, feeling the grass beneath. Elders leaning back in chairs, wrapped in shawls and memories. Below a few hazy, lazy clouds, birdsong tossing about the breeze. Insects hum the chorus, warming sunlight through shady trees. And if the weather be cold or wet, we feed a common fire, kindling a glow on every face, flaring our soul's desires. Just when the joy of being close seems too much to take, we safely can retire well behind some tea and cakes. Other stories touch our own. Their tears salt our eyes. We live and taste and ponder again the strangeness of our lives, giving attention to every moment, to every blade of grass, grains of sand, drops of ocean, that wistful look in the glass. Long ago, the conquerors came, tore us from our mother. All our lives are searched for home. We searched for home. At last, we found each other. Against confusion, we always knew, no matter what the weather, how we need each other so. From then, we are together. Our circle is a place where each of us has a song. Here, we know we are needed. And here, we all belong. Please rise for the lighting of the chalice. Broken and injured relationships, when viewed through the lens of a loving and appreciative heart, may be seen as a sacred gift, an opportunity for us to experience anew the significance of the disturbance and the utter joy in the anticipated healing. Such is the case of our broken and injured chalice. It has served us well for many years, for which we are most grateful, but we miss its presence during this period of repair and recovery, and we appreciate our temporary carrier of the flame. As we light this candle, it too carries our symbolic flame, honoring our individual sacred light of being, reminding us in all our relations to be carriers of joy, respect, love, justice, compassion, and the warmth of this loving community. Let us now join in reaffirming our sacred covenant. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its law. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Please be present with every word as we join in singing hymn number 1054. Let this be a house of peace, of freedom, truth, and prophecy.
Good Sunday morning, young people, and good morning to your parents and siblings. I'm Reverend Arthur. Back when I was a 7th and 8th grade teacher, my students used to call me Coach Jones, even though I was not a coach. So please feel free to call me Coach if you like. I will soon be teaching and preaching about the importance of freedom. The word freedom is used a lot to describe all sorts of things in our world, but sometimes it is very easy to lose sight of just how valuable freedom truly is. Whether you know it or not, there are lots of countries and lots of cities where young people your age are not allowed the privilege of attending school to earn a good education. There are other places in the world where the tuition fees of public schools are too expensive for the average family to afford. And that is why only some children are educated rather than all children. There are still other cultures that have laws stating that only males can be educated and that females must remain at home with their mothers to learn domestic skills like cooking and cleaning. Here in America, it is not hard to take our freedoms for granted. All young people cannot hang out with their friends as you can. All young people cannot dress as they please as you can. All young people cannot choose the career path they wish to pursue someday as you can. Freedom is indeed precious. As you're listening to my sermon later on in the service, please keep all those things in mind. You have the freedom to be young. You possess the freedom to have fun. But while you're busy being young, and while you're busy having fun, think about your peers living all over the world who would love to be able to do any of those things I just mentioned, but cannot. Think about those young people who would give almost anything to walk in your shoes. Then I want you to study a little bit harder. I want you to listen to your parents with a little more focus. I want you to do even better in school. Because someday, you might, with the help of the divine, bring about more freedom to the places lacking it than you can imagine right now. So exercise your own freedom to achieve. Use your freedom to succeed. Do that for yourself, but also do that for your peers living abroad. One person can indeed change the world. You are already proof of that. Thank you for your time and attention.
Let us sit quietly. Close your eyes if you are comfortable. Breathe freely and deeply. And just be present. Let us remember as we sit here today that we are fortunate that we have the freedom to do this, to be at peace for a moment, to meditate. At a time when many of us feel our freedoms being threatened, we can quietly reflect on the fact that there are some freedoms we can hold on to and appreciate. We are free to love, forgive, think, worship, feel awe, to travel, to gather together, to lend a hand. For each of us here, we are free to do all this and more without restriction. Bless those who do not have these same freedoms. May they find peace in the freedom that we enjoy. For our stones of intention this morning, as we prepare to place a stone of intention in the sand, let us remember what freedoms we are grateful for. And let us too recognize those who are threatened by the separation of hate and fear, who need our support, our love, our empathy, and where possible, our action. If you did not pick up a stone in the narthex, please come forward and choose a stone from the baskets alongside of the bowls of sand, and let your stone represent your personal cares, your concerns, your celebrations, your prayers or intentions for those in your life and those in the life of our country and the world who deserve our attention and care and love. Please come forward at this time to celebrate our stones of intention. that swirls around us today in our busy lives, in our lives of concern, it is hard to pick only 3 stones and what they represent. But now, Reverend Arthur will place our first stone for all involved in the Pride movement, celebrating Pride Month all of June, in the hopes that one day, very soon, our LGBTQIA2S+ family will experience true visibility, inclusion, and be valued, embraced, and loved. Our second stone is placed for our concern and our expression of support for growth for all oppressors who are hateful and frightened by what is different, in the hopes that they will one day come to understand and appreciate the beauty of difference, the joy of diversity, and the power of our human connection. And we place our third stone for all of us here in this congregation and throughout our nation who recognize the importance of putting into practice the values and principles represented by Unitarian Universalists everywhere, that we may actually bring about the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible. May we all experience the love and inclusion of this entire congregation as we embrace the acknowledged and the unspoken intentions of each of your stones. May it be so. Please remain seated as we sing our reflective hymn as shown in our printed program.
And happy Pride Month. It is good to be here. Wow, look at all of you. I feel your vibrational frequencies. I see your energy. Such brightness, such brilliance. Hang on. Let me put on my shades here. That's much better, much better. Everyone is shining. I dig it. So, we just witnessed on screen the actor Mark Hamill portraying the role of Luke Skywalker in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, expressing perhaps the most emphatic no in motion picture history. That was a no with some weight on it. This month's theme here is freedom. Freedom is a beautiful thing. Freedom is also a precious thing because I know, as you all do, that freedom is never free. There is a price for freedom. There is a cost for freedom. And sometimes that cost is incredibly high in terms of time, talent, and treasure. Freedom cannot and should not ever be taken for granted. Because if or when freedom is lost, there is no assurance that freedom can be reacquired. Instinctively, we know what freedom is. Therefore, we recognize the absence of freedom, no matter how elaborate the illusion is to our eyes, or how aesthetically pleasing the language is to our ears. Now, perhaps more so than ever, it is important to be direct and truthful in our words, our actions, and in our interactions with everyone we encounter. Being direct and truthful in our communication allows us to maintain our integrity, even as it extends respect and dignity to everyone else. I have been called to further the spread of love, justice, equality, and service here at UUCFM. Anything that runs counter to those noble aims, I will say no to. Anything that opposes the divine in terms of policies and practices, I must say no to. Anyone committed to dividing us from each other instead of bringing us together, I have to say no to. One of my favorite Bible verses is short and sweet and all too true. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Anything more than this comes from evil. I will preach today from the sermonic topic of freedom and the power of the word no. Of freedom and the power of the word no. On this topic, please allow me to offer you 3 points. First point, exercise your freedom to say no to stress. The word no can actually serve as a shield. Please, if you will, look at your neighbor and say, stress. My new friends Thomas and Hannah and I were discussing this last Sunday after service over in Hobart Hall. Stress is a constant companion in this increasingly cold, dark, and lonely world we all currently inhabit. The sources of stress in our postmodern lives include our personal finances, our professional titles and workplaces, our educational settings, our social locations, and our cultural interactions, just to name a few. Stress, of course, has detrimental effects on our well-being, both individually and collectively. Short-term stressful outcomes include headaches, migraines, insomnia, tense muscles, and gastrointestinal troubles. Long-term stressful outcomes may include hypertension, heart disease, increased probabilities of stroke, anxiety, and fatigue, to name a few. Some of the aforementioned long-term stressful outcomes can be hazardous, if not lethal. When stress is introduced within the human body, the body responds by releasing certain hormones, such as cortisol and/or adrenaline, which triggers the fight or flight scenario within our brain. It is a scientific fact that we as human beings cannot function within prolonged or continuous episodes of stress. Despite our divine design, we cannot remain in a state of crisis hour after hour, day after day. After a certain amount of time in crisis, something has to give. Either physically, emotionally, mentally, or some combination therein, we will break down. Too much stress in our lives can make us impatient and or intolerant. That's why no is such a powerful word. When used properly and used at a crucial moment, that single word can spare us from a cavalcade of stress. So exercise your freedom to say no to stress. Worldly wisdom has tricked society into believing that the word no is only used by villains or selfish people. That is not true. There's nothing wrong with preserving your own inner peace. It is actually wise to avoid stress. It might be helpful to think of the word no as a shield, a piece of protective gear to ward off negativity, bad choices, and or a return to habits that no longer serve you. In addition to that no-enabled shield, you may also consider engaging in anti-stress activities such as Pilates, guided meditation, and or yoga. It doesn't matter if you whisper it or scream it. Don't be afraid to say no. Grant yourself that option because freedom is power. Second point, exercise your freedom to say no to mess. The word no can actually serve as a sword. Please look at your neighbor and say, mess. Now, I talk about the baby scrolls quite a bit, and I change a lot of diapers at home, but that isn't the mess I'm here to discuss today. Much like stress, mess is easy to find and hard to dodge. Most people have a certain amount of mess they have to deal with at home and at work, within friendships and relationships, in courtrooms and in classrooms, and sadly, even sometimes in houses of worship. Mess is sneaky because it means different things to different people. Some people actually appreciate mess to a certain degree. Some consider mess to be a necessary evil, such as a fitness model willingly choosing to justify the long hours she works, the exhaustion of nonstop travel, and the lack of someone special in her personal life due to the pursuit of the fame and fortune her occupation offers. Without question, if something is evil, believe me, it is not necessary. That's why no is such a wonderful word. When it is uttered at an ideal time and in the right frame of reference, that solitary word can spare us from an overdose of mess. Too much of that in our lives can conceivably condition us to the false belief that mess is permanent, not temporary. So exercise your freedom to say no to mess. If someone is asking you to contribute some of your time to their cause and you are stretched too thin, it is okay to say no. If some organization that seems sketchy is asking you to do something or say something that would compromise your virtues or your values, you should just say no. You could possibly be avoiding some unforeseen mess in advance. It could be beneficial to think of the word no as a sword, a piece of defensive gear to reveal the truth of situations that appear innocent but aren't, or to sever things connected to your energy that seem to be given to you but are in reality siphoning energy from you. In addition to that no-powered sword, you may also want to think about participating in anti-mess measures, such as Reiki, massage therapy, and or acupuncture. Do not hesitate to convey no in your words and or in your actions when needed. However, allow yourself that gift because freedom is all about choice. Third and final point, exercise your freedom to say no to duress. The word no can actually serve as a standard. One last time with feeling, look at your neighbor and say, duress. Much like stress, and very much like mess, duress is all around us. There is no shortage of groups, systems, and institutions within our society working hard to force a narrative upon us. Corporations and companies do this every single day. Virtually every commercial you see is intended to convey the clear message that you lack something, that you are missing something. Nike's slogan is just do it, right? Nike wants you to believe that if you purchase their shoes and or their apparel, that the something missing from your life can be acquired. If you pay Nike's suggested retail price, maybe then you can be like Mike. American Express's tagline has been for decades, membership has its privileges, correct? So is American Express saying that if you don't carry their credit cards, you are not worthy of their cards? If so, I don't really care for that sentiment. Or if you are not Mr. or Ms. American Express, is the subliminal message that you are somehow unworthy of the privileges they promote? I love Nike. I like American Express. I'm not picking on those two brands, but I am making a bigger point. Duress is everywhere. It is in our marketing, in promotions, in magazines, all over the internet, and throughout our entertainment. The truth is, every man cannot have the physique of an all-pro NFL linebacker. Every woman cannot be a size 2. Just as everybody cannot possibly be as cool as me. In case you were wondering, yes, that is definitely a joke. Duress can be especially hard to deal with because conventional wisdom tends to suggest that the key to succeeding in life is to go along to get along, to go with the flow, to follow the crowd. All of us had to deal with duress at some point in our lives under a different but familiar phrase, peer pressure. That's why no is such a beautiful word. When it is spoken from a place of truth and delivered with clarity, that single word can deliver us from an avalanche of duress. Duress can rightly be seen as a gateway to and for abuse. So exercise your freedom to say no to duress. If your manager at work is insisting that you come to work a full day on your off day, unpaid no less because you happen to be on salary, and you previously promised to take your children to the beach that same day, you are supposed to say no, respectfully but clearly. Doing so may very well teach your children the importance of keeping your word. It could be handy to think of the word no as a standard, an idea or a code that can be measured. A standard, whether it is old or new, is an operating system, a way of doing things with the intention of being normalized. If at all possible, shouldn't a standard be positive? Shouldn't a standard be established and maintained for the greatest good of all? In addition to that no activated standard, you may also think about participating in anti-duress activities, such as mental health counseling, journaling, and or working out. Do not hesitate to use the word no in your actions when needed. Be ever mindful that freedom is unconstrained expression. Freedom urges you to be your authentic self. A shield, a sword, and a standard. The word no can be all of those things to you and for you as it relates to protecting yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, or socially. You can say no with a smile, with style, with no denial. You can say no holding a glove, with love emanating from above. You possess the power to exercise your freedom anywhere, for any reason, at any time. Utilizing your freedom is your right, your choice for your well-being. I mentioned your brilliance at the very beginning of this service. You are still shining. Brilliance is a bright, perpetual light. I love seeing you shine. Whenever you are shining, I am shining. Whenever I am shining, we are shining, and they are shining. I will close with this paraphrased / repurposed quote from our friend Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, Star Wars' chosen one, once lost but later found. You do not yet know your importance. You have only begun to discover your power. Join me, and I will walk beside you as you complete your training. With our combined strength, we can end these destructive conflicts and help bring order to this planet. If you only knew the power of the bright side. Say no from time to time. Search your feelings. You know it be true. Blessed be.
Wow. It's a hard act to follow, except that we all know it's not an act when it comes from here. Thank you. But you inspire me, because I'm going to talk about the Offertory. And guess what? I want you to answer no to me, okay? I want you to answer no when we talk about our community sharing partner that I'm going to tell you about. I want you to say no to systematic wage theft. Can I hear a no? No! Can I hear a no about sexual harassment? No! Or health and safety violations? No! And most extreme cases, modern day slavery in Florida's tomato fields? No! All right, thank you. Now we know what we have to work against. We also know that there's another side of this story that involves some real positive action. And so I want to take this opportunity for you to offer your financial support for the values we espouse. And there are many worthy issues and it's that we support in our community. And it is with great thanks for your organization, help here in UUCFM and in our broader community, and your support as well as your financial support. Now, as Parker J. Palmer once said, the human soul doesn't want to be advised or fixed or saved. The human soul simply wants to be witnessed, to be seen, to be heard and companioned exactly as it is. And this is exactly what the Alliance for Fair Food, the Coalition for Immokalee Workers, supports in its work with the farm workers, our community sharing partner this month. Confronting human rights abuses, including systemic and systematic wage theft, sexual harassment, health and safety violations, and in the most extreme cases, modern-day slavery, right here in Florida, tomato fields. We have long supported the Coalition of Immokalee Workers and the Alliance for Fair Food, and they have been extremely successful in their critical work in securing safe working conditions and have grown into an international organization. And they can be quoted as saying, "Together we fought to make the dream of enforceable human rights for farm workers a reality. Now we need your support to bring these critical human rights to thousands of workers in new crops and regions." And they are not only working in Florida and many other states in the United States, but in Mexico, in South Africa, in UK, in Chile, and they are expanding into the building trade, where there is a lot of activity that is very similar to the things that they face in the fields. So they are an incredible organization, and as is our custom, all of the loose monies collected today and throughout the month of June will go to the Alliance for Fair Food and the Coalition of Immokalee Workers. If you would like your offering to support UUCFM and all we do, please designate that on the offering envelope found at the end of the pews. And if you did not, on Zoom, you can click on the chat box and designate UUCFM and or our community sharing partner. If you are a guest, please place your connection card in the bag as it is passed around. With great expectation of support for this wonderful congregation and for the values that we stand for, and for the Alliance for Fair Food and the Coalition of Immokalee Workers. Our morning offering will now be generously given and gratefully received. Thank you very much. By the work of our hands and the work of our hearts, our love is made real. May we be grateful for all that is given and grateful for all that is shared. And now, as we extinguish this flame, we do extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise and join in singing hymn number 118, Come and Go With Me. I'm so grateful that you joined us today. And the Social Justice Committee, I believe, is selling their purple t-shirts this morning in Hobart Hall. Please pick up one of those if you would like to have that. And our Freedom to Read library is open for your exploration of books that, hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I couldn't get my printer to work this morning. And so I have to use technology that I'm not really all that happy with. Let's see, here, let's try this again. Here we go, okay. Our Freedom to Read library is open for your exploration of many of the issues we support in our society, and they are preparing for their used book sale next Sunday. All right, want to support that, please. Pick up your copy of the Transforming Hearts Collective program from the table in the narthex if you haven't already gotten one, as well as the Pride and UU sheet for the celebration of June as Pride Month. And yes, please sign up for the Transforming Hearts Zoom study group, where you can join me and others from the congregation with the expectation of being truly transformed. Talk to Kat on the extension of this Zoom group today, or in the coffee hour, talk to, please stand, Mary Peabody, or, okay, Mary Peabody waving, she doesn't want to stand right now, or Mary Studer. All right. These two women can lead you to transformation, okay? Please check out the information about the new discussion group noted at the bottom of What's Happening page opposite of the order of service this morning. You have it in your hand right now. Our first meeting will be on June 18th at 3:30 in the afternoon on Zoom. And after the worship team has exited the sanctuary, actually you can stand when the music starts, and we are going to exit the sanctuary, and we'll meet you in the narthex, and then we will join each other in Hobart Hall for coffee. We look forward to seeing you all next week. Share with your friends and your family what you have experienced here at UUCFM. I love the new faces that we see. I love this community, and I want to see it grow and prosper and really be active in our community for all of the values that we stand for. Blessed be. Amen.